Hey all, this is Ray from Exclusively Comics, and I want to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of our movie reviews. And today we are going to be discussing a B-rated movie called The Almighty Thor, which was made in 2011 with awesome budget of $200,000, which was okay, I guess. And it was a B-rated movie, trying to come off and profit off the success of the Marvel release of their version of Thor. But anyway, this version of Thor stars Cody Deal as Thor, Richard Grieco as Loki, Patricia Velasquez as a made-up character's name. I don't know why they couldn't make her Lady Sith. I don't understand. It's called Jensaka, I guess, which is really weird. And then it has Jess Allen as Baldir, and then we are topped off with the WWE big, sexy, cool Kevin Nash as Odin. Let's be honest, Kevin Nash kind of makes better Odin than what Anthony Hopkins does. But hey, he's not quite the actor, but he has the muscled out version of muscled out version of Odin. So Odin, Thor, and Baldir is going to see the Sisters of Faith that weave the cloth of fate, I guess, how it's termed different things in different mythos in Greek culture or in Norse culture. I think they're called Norms, the Sisters of Fate, but this is Sisters of Fate, and they're going to see the Sisters of Fate, and the Sisters of Fate tell them that Ragnarok is coming, and all of a sudden the ground shakes, and Loki is termed as the demon god that is in his, I guess, prison of hell, and he unleashes Ragnarok upon the Asgard, and Loki's purpose is that he is after an ancient hammer that is held by Odin, which is called the Hammer of Invincibility, and they could have come up with a little bit better name, I think, with that, but it's okay. And the purpose why Loki wants to get the Hammer of Invincibility is to destroy the world tree and to bring forth Ragnarok and destruction upon all of the 9 realms. And actually, Richard Grieco does a good job in playing Loki. I like his version of Loki. It's a little bit cheesy, some of the action. We'll get to that. And of course, the graphics are not quite up to snuff. I mean, with only a budget of $200,000, they did a good job of making an entire movie. And but I kind of enjoyed this movie of Thor. I thought it was pretty interesting. Man, it just didn't quite come together. I don't think I could look at ways in which the story could have flowed a little bit more. But Loki, anyway, has Fenrir, but he has a whole pack of Fenrir versions that attack the armies of Asgard, and trying to make his way to the fortress Valhalla. I suppose that's what it is. And if they try to term it, I guess, a little bit right. But on their way back, Odin, Baldur are fighting off these Fenrir clones, and because they've just wreaked havoc and killed, slaughtered all the guards of Asgard, all the troops of Asgard, and they are trying to fend them off. We got Thor there. He's not really quite the warrior. He thinks he's really great, but he's not. It ends up that Loki's confrontation with Odin, because Loki is after this hammer of invincibility, and this version that they have, is Loki ends up pulling a Loki and killing Odin. And I think that was kind of, weird. But anyway, then we have a macho moment with Thor. He's the only one left alive, because Loki disguises Baldur as himself and does a Loki thing, and he kills, and accidentally Odin kills Baldur, and then they fight, and it's okay. I mean, Odin has his spear. It's not magical or anything in this version. It's an okay fight. Kevin Nash, big old huge guy, plays a big macho version of Odin. And before Loki can get the hammer of invincibility, Odin throws it back to back where it was originally forged, which his father forged supposedly from the World Tree. So anyway, then Thor tries to confront Loki. Loki sort of plays around with him, because Thor just plays this sort of this spoiled brat that really can't do too much. Loki just sort of plays with him, and then he runs away, and he's disgusted at himself because he's been defeated. And all of a sudden, here comes Patricia Velasquez's character, and she saves him, and they make their way to a hidden training facility, which has a mysterious portal to Midgard, and they make their way to Midgard. And here, all this time, Loki is trying to find them in Midgard. It's really sort of, that she has been there on Midgard, and she has why does she have this room? Why does this, warrior have this room, set aside that's supposedly protected by this thing, and they're trying to get to, their purpose is that they're trying to go to Midgard to be able to have a direct path to the world, to the inner heart of the World Tree, where Thor can retrieve the hammer of invincibility. And so he does that. He retrieves the hammer, but he's really rash. He has he still has to deal. He's really arrogant, and he supposedly had been self-taught to be able to combat this, to be able to learn how to actually do combat. So he watched his brother use it, just sit on the sidelines, and he hadn't been trained, which I don't believe that would have taken place. But anyway, so it ends up that Thor loses the hammer of invincibility, of course, to Loki. Loki gets the hammer of invincibility, and then in some way he goes and he banishes Thor and kills to hell, and or the version of hell, I guess, and it was the fire world, and I don't know the exact names right now to the different 9 realms where he banished him, and so but anyway, you get the point. And he's banished there. I guess Sutur didn't have any part in this. I mean, they left him out of the story. But Loki is equipped with this sort of wand-like weapon, which gives him his power, which is a really unusual take on this. I think that it's really good little take. I mean, there's parts of this movie that, you know, that it's just like it's there, but it's not quite there. I mean, you have Loki walking around in all of his garb, you know, on the streets, and it's just like so much time is taken, and it's really odd. So much time is taken with Loki just walking around, doing nothing, and searching for Thor. And so anyway, Thor ends up going down to, doesn't have his hammer. The lady is killed, supposedly, and Loki goes, unleashes lizard type monsters to come, and they're terrorizing. It's tearing up Jack everywhere on in the middle of, I guess they're in Los Angeles, and it's literally hell on earth. Loki destroys the world tree. I mean, they had like a guard that was supposed to guard always the heart of the world tree, and it's hilarious that Loki just, you know, destroys him. And so anyway, Loki is there, and Loki's just standing in the middle of the street, and all of a sudden, down in the depths of this place where Thor is, he magically reaches in and takes some of the lava, holds it in his hand and stuff, and he starts making Mjolnir. And for reasons I don't know, I mean, they could have had one of the dwarves that actually made Mjolnir there. I guess they ran out of time, ran out of budget, couldn't find someone to play a dwarf. So anyway, Thor crafts his own version of Mjolnir, comes back. It's an okay, I mean, I like the version of Mjolnir that he has. I mean, it's a little bit odd shaped. I know they was going for a unique shape of Mjolnir that was different than what Thor, the Disney version of Thor, was coming out with. And it's okay. I mean, it's too, really don't get with some of these versions of Mjolnir that they have and they come out with, is that they're actually, not, the handles are too long on them. And I wish they would get that part a little bit correct. And but the story is okay overall. I mean, it's not the best movie in the world. It's definitely not a 5-star movie. It's most of the time on IMDb, it's like BD or whatever it's called. It's rated like a 1.7. It's at least a 2.5. I mean, it's okay. Movie is worth checking out for entertainment purposes. You have an hour and a half to kill. But the story really doesn't follow a good structure. And I'm noticing this, it doesn't matter really. I mean, you can get away. They try to do too much CGI, I think, in these budget movies, and whether they don't focus more on the story, where the story is actually good. They try to put, if they would have focused more on the story, it would have been a really decent movie. I mean, I wish they would have really emphasized on something that they started, that it was the Sisters of Fate that was trying to control everyone's fate, and Thor had the message that no, we control our own fate. I mean, it was a good message for the story, and ultimately Thor makes Mjolnir, comes back, and he destroys the Hammer of Invincibility. It's like, how can you destroy the Hammer of Invincibility? That's what it's called. But anyway, in the process, he kills Loki, and in essence, he uses Mjolnir's shockwave to be able to put out all the fires, do everything, and stop Ragnarok from taking place. It's an okay version. I mean, that was okay ending, I guess. It wasn't the worst movie that I have ever seen. It wasn't the worst Thor movie that I have ever seen. And we'll be reviewing another one that I watched. It was made in 2020, Thor: End of Days, and it's just, that movie is absolutely terrible. But we'll be getting into that a little bit later, and on another one. I may review that next. But we see that this story was okay. I mean, Richard Grieco did a good job playing Loki, I thought. He brought a really unique character, a really unique, I don't know, version of Loki to the screen. He's a little bit more unhinged, a little bit more crazy. I like that. I like the different versions of Fenrir. I think that was pretty cool, that it was a whole pack of wolves. I can see that. I wish that he would have summoned Surtur and destroyed, Asgard completely with him, but that didn't happen. I guess they couldn't afford that. But, I wish that they had tied in that Loki somehow, that he had been being controlled and manipulated by the Sisters of Fate, and that they were really the ones that was behind the scenes manipulating everything. And which that would be a good premise for a movie, and hey, I may do that. But I mean, I have an idea for a Thor movie myself, which I have several trying to make a series out of this, writing some screenplays. It doesn't have anything to do with the Marvel version of Thor. It's more dealing with Thor from mythology. But this movie was decent. It was okay. It was about 2.5, 2.4, 2.3, I would think, stars. It is a good watch. The guy that plays Thor does a good job. He comes off a little bit as that, arrogant type character. But it's really hard to follow the storyline. I mean, even when he falls in love with Patricia Velasquez's character, it's just like where did this come from? I mean, it's just really, really weird that he just played more of a adolescent Thor, more than, Thor that was, 20s and a little bit more mature. But it was sort of, okay, but I really liked Richard Greco's version of Loki. I liked, he was clearly the best, the actor in the movie, and his version of Loki is sort of like how he captured that character, and I would like to see that version of Loki a little bit more. I mean, we got the Marvel's version, but I wish there'd have been more exploration there of the relationship between Odin and Thor. Kevin Nash, bravado macho Odin. He did a good job. I mean, they messed up, not doing the eye patch on Odin. So anyway, this is my review of that movie. Go check it out. It's a good laugh. I mean, it's it's entertaining. It's just one of those odd stories that's out there, and comic book character of the almighty Thor, and it's a lot better than the old versions that's back during the early 80s and the ones made back during 1960s, that's for sure. But anyway, go check it out. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.